Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel. Thanks for joining us for another video. The deck chairs are out, but unfortunately we're not sat at the beach with our ice creams. The mic's in hand. Now, after United's draw against Crystal Palace, in some quarters it's like the world's flipped upside down.
Yeah.
Gabby Agbonlahor, the knives are out.
I just think Antony for me. I'm watching him last night. He wasn't happy when he got dragged, but he doesn't do enough for me. He's giving me like Pepe, who used to be at Arsenal vibes. Tricks, doesn't really beat a player, and they need, for me, Garnacho to start against Arsenal. They need Jadon Sancho to get back amongst it because
he's back in training, isn't he?
Yeah, they need more options on the wing.
First thing about Agbonlahor, right? He hates Man United and always has done. And United failing to secure the 3 points, which they should have done yesterday, right? He's jumped straight in. He's right at Antony. But what he's forgetting about Antony, and a few of our comments have been a bit down on Antony, is that he has been in his side what has been winning. Okay, he's got a job to do. Yes, he started his career at Man United scoring goals, taking on the defence, and away he goes. And we thought the world was just like on fire for him. He is playing a different role, and Agbonlahor has jumped straight in and slaughtered him, as if to say, get him out the team. He even says, get him out the team by bringing Sancho in. Sancho, who's not even in the squad. That's how bad it's got. The first glimmer of United, a chink in their armour, and people like him on talkSPORT, in the rest of the media, are now slagging Antony off. They've got a target, and we need to fight back against it.
No, I totally agree with you. But do you not think he's got a point in terms of his actual performances, though? We were expecting a lot from Antony since he signed. You know, I did say when he signed, we'd done a video on him, you know, when he did sign for Manchester United, and I expected him not to play regular for Manchester United this season. I thought he'd play one, come out for two, maybe play two, come out for 1 or 2 games, but not play regular. But do you think Ten Hag's hand's been forced to play him as much as he has because of the problems we've had on the wings, Tony, especially with Sancho? Antony Elanga as well hasn't stepped up as well this season.
Well, I didn't expect Antony to play every game, and you are correct, his hand's been forced. You look at Elanga, he isn't in form, bits of game here, bits of game there, and he's not performing. But you've got to go and look at Sancho, right? You expected Sancho to be playing on the right, and Antony has just took the role over because Sancho has just out of the picture. He's now back in the frame. He's back at Manchester United. Is he going to be able to challenge to take Antony's place? I don't think so. I think Antony's doing a job, right? And Ten Hag's give him a job. Get the ball, give it, and go. That's how I see it. He's going to try and keep hold of the ball. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, like with all players. But at the moment, Antony is being given a job to do, right? And a role in the team, and he has done well. We've won 9 games, drawn 1.
What do you think he's done well for the team?
I think he's just kept the ball and kept it ticking along, giving the ball to Bruno over the last 9-10 games, giving it back to Wan-Bissaka, just looking for another player. Simple football. That's how I see it. We expected exciting, exhilarating football, but that's not how he's being used at the moment.
With you just saying that what we was expecting, exciting football, what we did see at Ajax, we always seen him taking the man on, running past him, dribbling, going past the players, where I've not really seen too much of that.
No, I agree.
At the start, you know, of his Manchester United career, for whatever reason. But in terms of a team display from him, I'm happy with him at the moment. I'm not too dissatisfied because of what he brings. He's a typical winger where he likes to hug the touchline, and I think that's also helping Dalot and Wan-Bissaka with their form this season, because with Ten Hag's tactics with the fullbacks, you know, I think this modern day term of, you know, inverted fullbacks, where they've been able to cut inside and make runs inside instead of doing overlaps. Anthony's positional sense has been really good for me, where he can hug the touchline to create the space for the fullbacks to come back in. But with Antony, it always seems to be the simple balls that he gets wrong, which I don't know why he does that. But then again, you can look at Bruno Fernandes, because Bruno's just as guilty than anyone else for the simple passes, and he gets it wrong. But you're not always going to get it right. Let's face it.
No,
they are human beings. I know they're professional footballers. They've paid a wedge, but at the same time, mistakes do happen. But overall, on his team play, I'm happy with him at the moment. and the way he is as a
He's
winger.
part of a team, is adapting to something else what Ten Hag wants. And you mentioned Bruno there. Bruno has adapted to Antony, and they've worked well. Yesterday, it failed, right? Bruno himself wasn't on form. And I look at Antony's game. Yes, it wasn't top of the range, but Bruno against Crystal Palace was doing backflips. He was doing passes astray. It wasn't going right.
At what point did he do a backflip when he scored a goal? Celebration.
I meant back heels and all that. He was just trying to be too fancy and not doing the right thing. I never seen him really get in that box. The only time I've seen him get in the box was to score the goal, right? His passing was wayward. He didn't help Antony. It looked as though he wanted to fight and shout and scream at Antony. He was spending more time on the floor.
Well, there was a point with what you're saying, weren't there, where they had a bit of a confrontation, where a bit of a set to, words were exchanged between Antony and Bruno over a pass.
I think that relationship on the pitch yesterday sort of like went round the team a little bit, put the attacking side of the game off. And Bruno there, back to his old tricks. Arms in the air, waving about, moaning, shouting on the floor. Did not help Antony at all. And Bruno, to me, was the culprit yesterday. When I look back at the game, I thought Bruno and his influence on the game was non-existent.
It's a bit of a big statement, though, considering he got the goal.
No, you've got to take the goal apart, right? Rashford and Eriksen made that goal. He was there in the box, and quite rightly so. So take the goal apart. Bruno there was back to his old tricks, upsetting players on the pitch. He used to do it to Wan-Bissaka, but he doesn't take on Wan-Bissaka anymore. Wan-Bissaka's his own man now, right? So
Wan-Bissaka's like Cafu in disguise at the minute.
Well, you only have to look at Wan-Bissaka. That tackle there on Zara near the end there, absolutely 100% class. But Bruno did no favours for Antony yesterday. He never came looking for the ball off Antony. And when he did get the ball, Bruno, he was wayward with his passing. Such wayward with his passing, he actually created the booking for Casemiro.
What I will refer back to with Gabby Agbonlahor, he mentioned Jadon Sancho. And it was as though like Jadon Sancho could replace Antony on the right-hand side. Now, for me, I can't remember too many games where Sancho recently has played on that right-hand side, apart from in the pre-season games, you know, on the tour. And I don't really expect or see Sancho, well, his future at Manchester United, on the right-hand side. I see it out on the left. So
the big question for Jadon Sancho here, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you crack on.
The big question here for Jadon Sancho is simple. Where do we go, and where does Jadon Sancho go from here? If Jadon Sancho does not get in that squad for the Arsenal game on Sunday and has any involvement in them games, the cup games against Forest and Reading, then I'm telling you, there is big problems for Jadon Sancho. And all I see, if he does not make it in the squad and on the pitch over the next 4 games, you can see Jadon Sancho being taken out of this club in the summertime, because he has been given every opportunity, more than any player I know in the recent time.
Look, with you saying that, no, I totally agree. I think there's a lot more to it, which I'm not really going to speculate on with Jadon Sancho, but I think it's more to do than fitness. You know, if a player's not fit after 6 months from your pre-season training up until now, playing regular football, to me, that's not down to purely fitness. And
time will tell.
Time will tell. But you know, sticking on that theme of, you know, especially the Crystal Palace game, do you not think over recent games, you know, with Marcus Rashford's form, when we've seen Marcus Rashford have a dip in form against Palace, you see the attack just look a lot more fragile, don't you? The team doesn't look like it's more, you know, more fluid working together, does it? With opportunities being created.
Weghorst came in, right? How do you play with Weghorst? Well, we don't know. He's only just arrived. And what's happened is there was a lack of creativity down both flanks. Rashford and Antony failed to deliver, okay? Weghorst, not on the pace. It just didn't happen up front.
Do you think that affected Marcus Rashford's game then? Because obviously with Rashford recently, he's been playing out on that left-hand side with like Martial most of the time up top. And do you think it's maybe affected him? Because Vigor isn't as mobile as what you see with Antony Martial, is it? You know, people
Marcus
out there
Rashford.
might talk about Martial's work rate. He's more of a mannequin, but, you know, he does bring people into play, Martial, a lot easier and a lot better than what I seen Vigor do last night.
I don't think Marcus Rashford, right, and I'm not criticising him here, right, because he's been excellent in all the games recently, right, and I think it was just one game too far for him, and he didn't commit himself, and he didn't get involvement in the games. And also, I do believe he might have been suffering from a niggle from the game against City. But hey, we'll find out in due course.
Do you think they were tired as well? Just considering how many games they've all been playing, because Ten Hag's really got
high-tempo games.
Roughly like 12 or 13 players he normally relies on to be in that starting 11. And they've played a lot of games, these players. So do you think, you know, with this being, you know, that Crystal Palace game being a rescheduled fixture as well before this Arsenal game, do you think it was just being tired after that City game? Because let's face it, they put a lot into that City game, didn't they, to get the 3 points?
They've put a lot into all the games, really, and with such a small squad, and I have said it before, right, this is where we might fail going further down the line. I hope not, but they'll get refreshed, they'll get reinvigorated for this game on Sunday. So let's hope the Crystal Palace game, if there was, I thought some of the players were 10% off, right, and I think they'll get reinvigorated, and let's hope he changes 1 or 2 positions. And to be honest with you, looking at the game, I think Martinez going into that middle will change the attitude and the way United play.
Yeah, I've got a few things to point out for the Arsenal preview, but I think we'll save a lot of the conversation for Friday's video, which hopefully you can all join us there. But before we go, it was mentioned as well in
Kieran, I'm freezing.
I know I'm freezing. I can't feel my hands at the minute. Can't feel my face.
I'm freezing.
It is absolutely freezing. He did have a hat on before as well, but that's gone up there somewhere. But yeah, Garnacho. We mentioned Garnacho. Now going into the Arsenal game, fresh legs as well with Garnacho. Would you be tempted to play him on that left-hand side? Maybe.
Yes.
Put Rashford up front.
I may be tempted because the reason why I'm tempted is because I do believe there is a niggling injury there for Rashford, and I think he might, and it might suit United, Rashford coming on for the last half hour, to be honest with you. But Ten Hag knows his
who
players.
Would you have up front then?
Well, it'd be Garnacho.
Up top on his own? As a centre-forward?
No, Garnacho, Weghorst and Antony.
Oh, that's a big call.
That's the way.
I'm not happy with that.
No, well, you've got no other centre forward.
No,
I'm saying, listen, Rashford all depends on how I believe he's got a niggling injury. That's what I'm depending it on. I'm not saying that's what I'm going to have. I do believe he's got a niggling injury.
I just think what you said before and what I mentioned, I think they were just tired. Maybe the concentration weren't fully on the Palace game as well. We all know out there that it's a massive game on Sunday against Arsenal. So was the full focus on that game? Was he looking more towards the Arsenal game? I'm not saying it's right if it was that with Marcus Rashford, but if we see him on Sunday and he's explosive, you know, you could point back to that, you know, maybe he was saving himself and his energy for this game coming up, Tony. But for me, I would agree with Agbonlahor, who we disagree with 99% of the time, that Garnacho on the left, Rashford up front. And, you know, there's a shout out there for this Palestri, Tony.
It's all about opinions.
So there's a shout for Palestri for me, and
ooh,
you know, with
that's
Antony,
enough for them out there to consider. You know what I mean?
I know that there's plenty of what we've discussed today with Palestri, and yeah, I'm not going to go too much into it, like I just said 5 minutes ago, and proceeded to actually go into it.
So leave it.
So I'm going to leave it. Obviously, as you know, there's no script here, no TV.
It's the cold. It's the cold. It's frazzing our brains here.
So, but yeah, I'll leave it there. We'll go into a lot more detail tomorrow on the Arsenal preview, so hopefully you can join us there. But yeah, for me, Garnacho, Rashford, and
Stop
Antony
it.
Need pace against Arsenal.
Stop it.
But yeah, I'm going to leave it there.
Wrap it up.
We should have put a green screen on, shouldn't we?
Wrap it up, son. I'm freezing here.
Out here. So yeah, no, thanks for joining us. I'm going to stop waffling on. Smash a like on today's video. Get your comments in on what we've discussed today.
Yeah.
I think we've had plenty to discuss today, including Agbonlahor's comments on talkSPORT. Hope you've enjoyed it. Subscribe if you like our content, and we will be back tomorrow with that Arsenal preview. So hopefully see you there. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Thank you.